we really need to ask, the question we really need to ask ourselves when selecting topic is how researchable the topic is, and if that topic actually fits the purpose for which the research is meant for. And that is equally very, very peculiar to that of critical analysis of NIESV. Now, we have realized that a lot of candidates and equally supervisors alike have confusions about what should be the form, So we want to ensure that we move away from zone of confusion to zone of clarity when selecting topic. Now, looking at the concept of critical analysis, NIESV critical analysis, what does it mean? Because that is where the understanding should start from. If we don't know what the critical analysis is all about, that means that the fitness for purpose will not be able to answer that question. Will not be able to really, come up with topic that will conform with the need of a critical analysis. So how do we see, what is the perspective of NIESV critical analysis? What does it mean? The first thing is that critical analysis is a test of professional competence. If we understand that as test of professional competence, then as a matter of fact, all other bases, all other requirements will fall into place. Test of professional competence is the sense that it is to examine the experience and confirm the capacity of the candidate. Is to examine the experience and be an indicative of the capacity, knowledge skill of the candidate. That is number one fundamental thing about critical analysis. Because of the fact that it now relates to personal experience of the candidate, it then means that it's rather a case study research. It is a case study research. What this means is that it's not a research, as we will see maybe in the next slide. It is not a research that you come up with a topic that your topic will presuppose that you want to seek third-party opinion, or that you want to go to field and go and collect data. All those will not fulfill the purpose of a critical analysis. The moment the topic has undertone that is purporting that data is to be collected, research, finding is to be made, or contact is even to be made to even one single person, then it will not fulfill the purpose of that fitness, the fitness of purpose of a critical analysis, test of professional competence. Given that, therefore, I try to look at it. I normally in the past said that, well, it's a glorified technical report. But I now realize that no, it's more appropriate to call it special purpose technical report. It's meant for the assessment of your competence. That is the special purpose there. So it is important for us to identify that. It then means that we are just practically reporting what we have done or what we have been involved in that we feel is of high significance. And it has contributed to our skill assessment of surveyors and learners. Now, it then means that data collection, because we see some CA, of course, we'll be talking about research method and things like that. Data and data analysis will be based on the involvement of the candidates. It is not to be sought from the field. It is not to be sought from other expert opinion, other than advice, not that the information you need to conclude your research will be sourced from another person. No. Then equally, issue of survey, conducting survey, field survey, or having to carry out investigation in the field is not applicable at all when talking about critical analysis. Your survey has been your involvement in, or the involvement of the candidate in the project case study or the surface case study. So it is therefore rather a form of research that is descriptive and not exploratory. It's not explanatory. It's rather descriptive to give account of what has happened. This is a way to analyze, present what critical analysis is. And this is not limited to NIESV. Even some other international professional bodies, they have this in perspective. Everything has to be rooted in the practical knowledge, practical experience of the candidates. Now, then what then is the difference from the background that I've given? The differences are actually obvious between what's supposed to be academic research and NIESV critical analysis. This slide is very important. We felt the need for this because of the fact that all of us, we always have that confusion because all of us we are passed through academics. Some are even doing research as we speak. And one way or the other, we have written projects. So what then is the difference between what we have to write as CA or what we have to supervise as a supervisor as CA compared to the research we are doing or that we have done before? The first thing is that for academic research, you can take different forms of research. It can be exploratory, it can be explanatory, descriptive, and what have you. But when it is critical analysis, it's mainly descriptive. It's mainly descriptive. Then when it is academic research, there can be other phenomena of interest. It's not only academic research is not limited to case study. You have out of academic research, you have case study research. Yes. But a lot of academic research always require having to study other phenomena, population of interest. That is not the case with CA. Candidate is not to collect data from, on a population of interest. Then, now in terms of academic research, it's important we define our research method, our data collection processes, and the method that we are going to use to analyze to ensure that we achieve the objectives of the research, right? But for the CA, it's very simple. And that's why it's a technical, special purpose technical report. Because for CA, all we need, or the candidate needs to do, is participation. That is participation is not even compulsory that it must be the one that leads the team, but it must be involved and must have experienced the project or the service is trying to report on. Given that, academic research is expected to be objective, no bias. It's not based on your opinion, what you expect it to be, whereas critical analysis is based on what you have experienced. And I conclude by saying that academic research is a scientific process, it's a scientific research, follows scientific procedures, whereas CA is a test of professional competence, so it's a professional competence report. These are major differences that have been identified as differentiating assessment of professional competence or test of professional competence from other academic research. So what are the guidelines for selecting topic? This is very, very key. Guidelines for selecting topic. You see, in most cases, when people come to academy to ask us for topic, in the course of mentorship, we have really gathered a lot of experiences and, so what I've done is to articulate this in this section of my presentation. And we've seen that this actually work, it have been working and performance have been increasing. The first thing in articulating, in selecting topic is that the topic must relate and must fall within the service area of the profession, essence surveying and valuation. It must fall within area of competence, area of services of essence surveyors and valuers. So candidates are not to pick topic outside that purview. Like, for example, I gave an instance here. A case of having to manage projects is within the competence of SS of and Valuer and our service area to manage project delivery, whatever forms of real estate development. But it is not our job to supervise building construction. So if a candidate is to write and is proposing supervision of building construction, that will not be within the purview of our service area. But this service, instead of writing on supervision of building construction, then it should be what? Management of building projects. Management, and that management of building projects is actually the scope is too wide anyway. I'm only giving that as an example. So management of delivery of building projects is within our purview. It's the job of SS Surveyor and Valuer. The supervision of the construction, that is the technical aspect of it. It's operational, not strategic. It's not our job. So candidates is not expected to write on construction of building, but delivery of a project. If it is a building, yes, whatever form of property it is. So equally, I gave an example of a property development instead of building construction in this case. Again, it must be rooted in case study project or services. The topic that a candidate will write on, or that the supervisor will supervise, or agree that yes, this topic is good. That topic should be rooted in case study project or service. Either that is a valuation job, an appraisal service, land documentation services, and what have you. It must be rooted in a case study project. So it then means that while looking at the topic, it's important to have the case study number one. And apart from that, the topic should be capable of being interpreted. In fact, the meaning should be clear that it relates to the case study, that the case study anchors that topic. So that topic must be rooted in a case study project or a service. For example, you want to, if you say management of commercial property, I am a member of commercial property, yes, challenges of managing commercial property in Lagos. That was an academic research until such topic is anchored or rooted into a specific maybe portfolio of a firm or some selected properties based on the involvement of the candidates. So that's another guideline that we must monitor. Again, it should come up from candidate experience. It should come up from candidate experience. For example, we have had calls to meet candidates. Let me just say, you have a candidate as working in Ministry of Lands, is processing land documentation on behalf of government as land officers. And he wants to write on appraiser, right? Or he wants to write on, project management. Or you have somebody who is working, for example, is working with Wemabod Estates. If he's working with Wemabod Estates, now he wants to write on property valuation. He can only write on review of value of valuation, not property valuation itself. Because Wemabod will not lay claim and does not have the capacity, for example, to present valuation report. They can do it in-house, but that will not be sufficient as test of professional competence. But they can review. Wemabod can have a review team in-house for any valuation report that is done. Just like a banker. A banker could be in a review committee or a review team of the bank. But it's not his job to prepare valuation for secure lending for the bank. So that is a kind of example of the fact that we should ensure that the topic is traced to candidate's experience. Indication of that would be one, the nature of the organization where the candidate is working. What is the scope of work they do? So whatever they do, unless the candidate has had the experience elsewhere, And it's easier for a candidate to work on topic on issues that he has been involved on. So equally, because of experience, if candidates has been involved truly, definitely he was going to have access to the case study information and other materials. So these are another indication of candidates having experience. And this candidate's experience, is required by NIESV that it must be documented in the log. It must be documented in the diary and log, so that it can be traced that truly the candidate really experienced such. So this is another key important guideline. While selecting topic, we should ensure that that topic fulfills this guideline. Involvement of candidates is equally very important. Now, let me differentiate. There is a word of difference between candidate experience, the one I said before, and the one I said before, which is this, and involvement of candidate. I had a particular experience I want to mention, and that's the case I put here. I said the case of arbitration services. Arbitration, for example, is a private court. It's a private tribunal. If you are not an arbitrator, you cannot be part of the arbitration process. So how can a candidate lay claim that because arbitration is part of the area of professional services, offenses, surveyors, and burglars, therefore, is writing on arbitral process? It would rather be writing theory, not giving account of its involvement. So this is a clear indication, a clear example of a case where involvement of candidates is key. The topic should be that it's capable of candidates' involvement. On the face value of it, it should be clear that, oh, truly this candidate can be involved. So that is what that means, so that we don't just pick topic and okay, yes, that's an area of professional service of surveyors, and therefore, we agree that candidates should go ahead with that. We need to really be sure that, yes, on the face value of the topic, that topic is capable of the involvement of candidates. Now, another important thing is this. It's not enough to just pick topic these days. I could recall that sometimes ago, NIESV decided that some areas of the profession, they will not be allowing candidates to write topics on them again, even though they still are allowed. But you see, it's because, we write the same thing always. And the candidate choose to, just set for comfort zone and pick, you are writing on management of service charge, for example, or you are writing on management of, RIS building. A lot of people have written on all those things. So these days, and we are in a dynamic world, the world is not stagnant. Equally, our profession is not stagnant. Let me give you an example. For example, management of commercial property. Yeah, it was just with the advent of regional mall that we started seeing anchor tenants in Nigeria, the like of Spare, the like of ShopRite, anchor tenants. That is a unique contemporary issue that candidate can write on in property portfolio management. Health and service issue is a contemporary issue that candidate can write on in property portfolio management. Management or challenges of fractional interests, is a contemporary or issue of significance that candidate can write on. So many of these issues, right? And but it's not enough to just say, I want to write on management of high-rise commercial property or multi-tenanted property, commercial property. Number one, for 3,000 words, you'll just be writing little of many things. There won't be significance, and there won't be anything that is unique about it. So my own advice is that we should, anything candidate want to write on, such that even the panel that will approve the synopsis will be on the lookout. They will be on the lookout. They want to see what will this experience bring out. what will be the contribution to knowledge of this? How will it impact our skill? So it's important we ensure that anything candidate want to write on should involve issue of remarkable, event impacts, either in terms of the level of significance or in terms of being a contemporary issue, or in terms of its uniqueness or peculiarity. I remember one of our respected senior colleague of blessed memory, he told me of how he won an honor from NIESV just because of what? It's not because he supervised a project, but he was able to show NIESV that this project that he supervised, the value points that that project had, was able to show them. And that's what is important about our CA. It's not enough to just write anything. And this will contribute to quality of membership and is going to help even in our practices. So the topic should not be just on agency management, even not just on valuation. And valuation has equally been so much, belabored. But contemporary issue in valuation, peculiar issues in valuation, right? Let me give you an example. A candidate approached me and that I should supervise him. Supervisor, sorry. And I was like, okay. That was when this new format was just introduced. Okay, tell me about your work experience. Okay, is there anything so significant that you have done, or something that is so challenging that you have addressed and you are so happy about, you are passionate about? And at the end of the day, the lady told me about how they manage energy, and so on and so forth, the form of energy they use, their metering system, and they have a turbine. I was like, okay, fine. So we came up with energy management, as a topic. And today, the lady is not just an associate member, she has a seal and stamp already. The topic went through easily without any challenges, and she was able to write something good because she's involved. And our CA happened to be on something that is contemporary, something that will be of interest to anybody. So, like for example, talking about valuation these days, we have valuation that has to do with IFSAS, International Financial Reporting, and so on and so forth. But even within IFSAS, there are peculiar issues that we should trash out. Even within International Financial Reporting, it's not enough to just even write from International Financial Reporting. Value decomposition is a peculiar case in International Financial Reporting valuation. So how do we handle that? It's a peculiar thing and will contribute to knowledge. So the like of things like that, for example, we just experienced COVID. It's not just to write about COVID. How have you reflected COVID in your practice, particularly maybe in managing tenants, like tenant incentives, or maybe in valuation, like for example, having to reflect the degree of uncertainties. All these are issues that we must pay attention to. They are issues that I said, the topic should involve remarkable issues or challenges, right? That attract professional input, that we create professional solutions for, and that will empower the candidate. Now, another important thing is that the scope of the topic should not be too shallow. It should not be too shallow. Like, for example, somebody sent a topic one day and said he wants to inventory of fittings and features in handing over property to a tenant. I said, what do you want to write that we don't know about that? And what is so significant about that skill? So things like that, the scope should be, it's not to be too broad, but should be sufficient enough. Let me use that word. Sufficient scope. Sufficient enough. And equally, these two slides are talking about two different things. The guideline 6 is talking about the scope of the topic itself. Guideline 7 is talking about the depth of case study. For example, if you want to manage residential property and you just say a case study of a 2-3-bedroom bungalow, I mean, that's not sufficient. If that is not sufficient, then you better do comparative analysis. Your experience in residential and your experience in commercial, compare. Rather, the depth should be sufficient. It's not to be too much or too high, right? It should be sufficient enough. Okay, so that is of the case study project or case study surfaces. Now, on a final note in my guideline, I said the topic in the professional service area should be of interest, should be area of interest to the candidate. This is more personal. This is for the candidate to be able to keep going, irrespective of whatever bottleneck. Because it's what you have interest in, what you have passion for, that in fact is easier for you to achieve results on such things. So, and this is a fundamental guideline anyway for any research work. But for CA, I brought it in because for any research on it, so it's an endeavor, and it requires commitment, and you face a lot of challenges, constraints. So you must keep going. To keep going, there must be burning desire to achieve results. To keep going, the candidate must have interest in that. He wants to see that project completed. And that is why this one has to come in. So it's basically to motivate the candidate to ensure that he sees through the process of the CA and to the completion. Now, we have basic rules. Now, with what we have said so far, we should be able to now have the right perspective of what a topic of CA should be, what requirements that the topic should fulfill. Now, if we now have the topic idea, what are the rules that we have to guide in writing the topic? So the first one is that the topic must be properly phrased. Then we should ensure it's not too lengthy. We'll say that. And there are some things that we have to avoid. So let's quickly see those things. For a topic that is properly phrased, there won't be ambiguity. It has to be title-like. Your topic should not be like a question. It should be a caption, title-like. And it must have clear focus because it's to give direction. If the topic is clear, the candidate will see through whatever he or she has to do. So it should not be ambiguous. It should have clear focus to give, direction to what to put together in the technical report. And in writing it, framing it properly requires that as much as possible, you avoid repetition. That should be, even keywords should not be repeated, not to talk of prepositions. In some cases, it might not be practically difficult, but it's part of guiding rules that we should avoid repetition in our sentence, in our topic sentence. Now, and we should ensure that we follow standard rules. One of it is that you minimize or avoid repetition of words. Another one is that if you are not writing all through in upper cases, for example, there are some keywords, your first word, your last word, all proper nouns, all keywords, prepositions that are more than 3 characters and so on and so forth should be capitalized. All these are part of the basic rules for proper phrasing or coin of a topic. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now let's see topic length. The shorter, the better for the topic. The shorter, the better. However, in a bid to make it short, we should not compromise the meaningfulness of the topic. The topic should be meaningful and self-explanatory. And the scope of the topic should be clear. So therefore, it then means that we have to be careful. You have to maintain a balance between ensuring that your topic is not too lengthy and that you do not lose the scope or mutilate the scope of your topic. So topic for CA should conform with international best practice. The shorter, the better. And the recommended is that about 13 words. I want to advise we guide ourselves with 13 words. Actually, I always say 12 words. But I know that there are some writing style, journals and the like, that allow up to 15 words. So if it's still 15, maybe 13, 14, but on the uppermost, it should not be more than 15. The fewer, the better. Around 12, 13 words, or even less, but it must convey meaning, it must have clear direction, clear scope, the topic for the CA. So that is the length. Now, what do we have to avoid? Very simple. If it is a topic, you don't put full stop in front of it. You don't need period. You don't need question mark, because you are not to frame your topic should be a caption. It should be topic-like, title-like. So hence, it should not be a question statement. Hence, no question mark. Then there are cases where there will be topic that have two parts. In separating the two parts, you don't use hyphen or dash. Hyphen can be used if you are writing compound words in your topic. Compound words in your topic. Hyphen can be used. But hyphen or dash is not to be used to separate two parts of a topic. It's not to be used. That is not the convention. So while writing topic that has two parts, use column. Some convention allows semicolon, but the one that is common is column. So we pay attention to that to ensure that our topic will conform with best practice. Now, what are the qualities, some other qualities of a good topic? Number one is that it must be very, very clear, no ambiguity. We are not talking about clear writing, no. In terms of meaning, it must be clear and specific, no ambiguity. And it must be well defined. The definition here is that it should be capable of one single interpretation, one single meaning, no double impression. Oh, maybe this is what he's trying to. I think I have one or two topics that I present in this slide, so I will see. Right? No, the topic should not be such that it can give double impression or confusion. It should be capable of one single meaning. So there will be clear cut direction. There should be focus, and that has to do with defining the scope of the work. There should be focus. We will see one or two examples of topics. There should be focus. So if the topic should not be such that the focus is not clear, the examiner or the supervisor cannot even identify what the candidate want to write on. And title rules, like the one I've given an example, if you have to capitalize the length and things like that, have to be followed. Again, it's important that your topic is it works research time. Let me put it that way, in the word of the academia. It should work research resources and time. And that has to do with currency and level of importance. Currency and level of importance. So this currency, is it a contemporary issue in our practice? There is no any aspect of our profession that we don't have contemporary issues in, even in agency, right? So, like for example, in agency, Instead of writing how to sell property or how to market property, we can write on sales of property of a disease that die in testes, for example, or sales of family property, or sales of property under mortgage. All these have issues, professional issues that will contribute to our skill. So then we have skill enhancements. That's what I mean by contributing to skill. What has been the experience of the candidate, or what will be the skill, contribution to his skill given the topic? How will the project, case study, or the service area, his involvement in it, and the topic he wants to write, how will he be able to show a kind of value addition, what he has added to himself or herself in terms of skill? And that will equally contribute to our practice. For example, in this era of COVID, if a candidate is to write on a valuation, demonstrating uncertainties in valuation because of COVID, and it's giving us a case study of valuation that have been done, that is principle into what? Into practice. So for many of us that will feel that, principle apart, practice apart, that candidate will be able to show to us, oh, truly, all these principles and theories, they are practicable. Like, for example, I felt a candidate topic that has to do with application of premium, and that's a valuation issue, but we applied it into how do you assess rental value of a property that is not in a tenantable state. You let us assist. Majority of us do that. We let assist. These are key issues that will contribute to the skill of the candidate, and the candidate must have learned one thing or the other there, and we're able to at least, equally help the practice. So skill enhancements. We should, as supervisor or even as candidates, I do hope that we are working. The academy is working on NIESV selection workbook. I do hope we'll be able to come up with that workbook very, very soon. That workbook is to guide all these processes. We have simplified them as processes in the course of selecting topic, so that candidate has one activity or the other under each process to do. At the end of the day, you come up with an articulated topic that will be suitable for tests of professional competence. By the grace of God, we will ensure it's done and get it across to participants by the grace of God as soon as possible. Okay, now, I think we still have reasonable time. Good. Now, why do some topics get disqualified? So, from my own experience, I articulated all this for us to realize why candidates' topic might not be approved. From what we have presented so far, we should know, therefore, that if a candidate is coming up with a topic, whether it's going to be approvable or not. If the topic fulfills all the requirements and the guidelines that we have explained so far, the chance of that topic being approved is very, very high. Very, very high. More so even if it's contemporary. If it's not contemporary, the chance is high, but it will not be too high. If it's contemporary, right? You want to write on appraisal instead of writing on feasibility and viability studies. Pick feasibility. Digest what is legal feasibility for us. Let us know. Dissect it. Dissect what is physical. It's not just English. Physical feasibility is also what? How do you assess a project and adjudge that project to be physically feasible or legally feasible? What are the parameters? How do you assess? Same thing in viability. So many contemporary or challenging issues, like optimization is there, risk analysis is there, sensitivity analysis, and so many other things. Even application of the techniques on its own. So contemporary, unique issues that, we add to the skill of the candidate and even our practice. So grants for disqualifying topic. The following are some of common grants why topics are disqualified. And I'm talking from the perspective of NIESV. One is shallow depth of scope. The topic is too shallow. When you look at it, shallow is too shallow. Two is shallow depth of case study. The case study is not sufficient. Maybe it's just talking of, he wants to talk about management of residential property, and the case study is just a 3-bedroom bungalow or a bungalow of twin flats. So depth of case study is very, very key, very, very important. Another one is that it can be theoretical, being theoretical. The moment the topic appears to be theoretical, that lends to itself to academic research, not CA research. For example, the moment a topic appears, it's not because it relates to theory or principles. I'm not saying that. Because without theory and principle, there cannot be practice. What I'm saying here is that it is purely an academic research, particularly when a candidate comes up with a topic, and that topic requires that the candidate will have to go and seek information from a third party or from the field, data collection from the field. Let me give you an example of a candidate whose topic, so painful. His topic was not disqualified as at the time he submitted synopsis. He submitted synopsis, his topic was approved. He wrote the synopsis, he wrote his CA, the supervisor signed, and he submitted, and he went for the interview. He even paid pledge, only to be referred to say, go and select another topic. Your topic is not suitable for test of professional competence. And when he mentioned the topic, I was like, how will you, that topic ordinarily supposed not to have been approved in the first instance. Because his topic was causes of building collapse in Lagos Island. Causes of building collapse in Lagos Island. How will the candidate claim to be experienced in how building get collapsed? How will that fall in the areas of his practice? What does he want to examine? He will only have to collect data from the field. Or even you want to write on, a candidate is to write on impact of road expansion or road rehabilitation on rental value. There's no core area of professional competence in that. That appears theoretical because the only way to really do thorough work in that is to collect data, pre and post, and so on like that. So candidate topic can be theoretical. One of the strategies of identifying that is that we need to check whether that topic requires feed data. For example, the moment it requires feed data, right, before the objective of that topic could be achieved, then it's theoretical. Okay, then ambiguity or not properly phrased. If it's ambiguous, does not convey single meaning, and if it is not within the service area of the profession. If it is not within the service area of the profession, I had a candidate sometimes ago, one of our participants at Race Academy is a fellow of ICANN. So he wanted to write, and out of for about 6 different occasions, he was writing on taxes and so on. So everything was more accounting than real estate services. So these are part of the examples. It has to fall within. And like the example I gave, the candidate is to write on supervision of building construction. Yes, we do some supervision, but that's not our core competence. That's not our core competence. Okay, so then it has to be at least be within that our service area, so that if it is not there, it's going to be disqualified. These are some of the rules. There are other reasons, but these are common. I see this coming up often and often, among candidates and even with my own personal experience and so on and so forth. But if we guide ourselves with all these guidelines that we have set, it's not likely that, in fact, assessor don't want to disqualify topic or synopsis. Assessor would rather look for a way to mend it, and approve as amended. But where it has structural defects, or lack focus, the assessor will not have choice. So these are some of the grounds for disqualifying candidates. I brought them up so that we can guide our attention against writing topics that could be disqualified. Okay, and sorry, I've not been following chat, so I hope people are monitoring chat. Okay, if we have questions, we will attend to questions when we get to question and answer. Because I can see that some are questions here. We'll attend to questions when we get to question and answer. Our moderator will handle that, and I will respond by the grace of God. So now, these are examples of topics I want us to consider. The first topic says unavailability. I'm talking of topics submitted to NIESV, this topic. Also, topic brought to us to say, sorry, help me look at this topic. I want to submit. Also, it has been submitted and disqualified, or that is submitted, So this one says unavailability of title documents as a bottleneck to successful sales transaction. That is to say the obvious, isn't it? Noble colleagues, it's to say the obvious. That is a serious defect. It's a bottleneck. What do you want to write on? It has not conferred any special area of professional inputs. So instead of writing, so the reason here is that it has a very shallow depth. There is nothing so significant as professional input that the topic is proposing, or that the topic is purporting. And what the topic is claiming is an obvious thing, so you don't need research about it. Rather, instead of now writing this way, the talking with the candidate, his mind is actually how to handle defects in title. So handling defects in title for successful sales transaction. That calls for what? Professional input. How do you identify what constitutes defects? Then what are the measures or professional efforts that you do to correct the defects? And how has the correcting the defect impacted or affected or contributed to successful sales of the transaction? Okay, so this is one topic. The first one here is saying no, this will not be right. This one is saying yes. More or less, with the same mindset, with the same subject matter that the candidate wants to write, So then equally, another topic is this. Effect of poor consumption and siting of commercial building on rental incomes. Effect of poor consumptions and siting of commercial buildings on rental income. The intention of the candidate is to show that a building, most often, essence of the umbrella will get to the building when it's already built, and they ask us to come and manage. Right? This is supposed to have been addressed at conception stage when, the project is conceived. So the candidates want to write on his experience as to what he has realized because of the wrong concept of the project and where the project is. So this is recommended. Strategies of handling the challenges of obsolescence in management of commercial investment property. This topic will require that we identify what are these obsolescence. If it's wrongly cited, definitely there will be locational obsolescence, and that will accumulate to economic obsolescence. And if the concept is not right, there will be functional obsolescence. If the concept is not right, there will be functional obsolescence. And at the end of the day, that will lead to economic obsolescence as well. So impact on rental value is actually, like impacting on the performance of the property. But what is required there is how such challenges, identify those challenges, and how the challenges are being handled professionally. That is the contribution to knowledge. That is the skill enhancement. That is the experience gained. So it's not just to talk about, oh, it affects income this way, this way, this way. If there are obsolescence, it's obvious that it's going to affect performance of the building, of the property. So what are the strategies of handling this? And in identifying those strategies, you first of all identify those issues, those challenges, then the solutions, measures, and so on and so on. Let me give you an example. Like when this COVID came, you know, we started experiencing a series of challenges, particularly in our portfolio management. A lot of tenants could not pay. Some are asking for reduced rent, and so on and so forth. Then that taught us lesson to come up with a series of what? Tenant incentives. You know, you assess the property on its own merit and the tenant, and you come up with incentives. And if it's for the tenant to leave, fine. That could be a measure. But it's not only that. Just last week, a candidate came to me to ask me about my opinion for an exercise. He wants to pick a topic that is managing properties of, let me say, family property with fractional interests, you know. So he was able to identify challenges because he's experiencing those challenges, really. I could see it. But I said, okay, fine, these are challenges. You should not just tell us challenges now. What are the value points? What have you been able to do? What are the measures? From the professional point of view, how do you handle all these things? And not Jankara, I mean, not just, you know, ad hoc approach, scientific processes, you know? So these are things to monitor when we are running through topics, so that our topic will not be disqualified, or our candidate's topic will not be disqualified. I want to thank you for your time with me so far, since roughly about, I think about 1 hour ago, if I'm right. And on this note, I think it is time for question and answer. So I want to leave the stage for NIESV Commander Lawal to identify what questions we have that require responses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the beautiful lectures. We are going to enter the question and answer session now. But before that, I want to quickly do a recap of the lecture, just to mention the key, to hammer on the key points. Now, during the course of the lecture, the lecturer informed us that NIESV critical analysis is unlike the projects that they do in the academics. It is a test of professional competence. And as a test of professional competence, it serves as a special purpose technical report, which means as a special purpose technical report, all that we are required is that to pick a topic that from the practical experience we have gathered during a period of pupillage. And it does not require data collection. No field survey is involved. And the lecturer made us to understand that whenever you pick a topic, and that topic, to achieve the objective of that topic, you'll be required to carry out field survey other than your case study. There, it is not a topic for NIESV critical analysis. Then it is mainly descriptive in nature. We also need to understand that our topic must involve remarkable issues and challenges that we create professional solution. Topic will not be too shallow. The topic must have sufficient scope, but not too broad. Topic must be reasonable, and topic should emanate from the area of interest of the candidates. Okay, then the lecturer went on to give us some of the basic rules that one of the basic rules is that topic must be properly phrased. There must not be ambiguity, no title-like statements without, there should not also be repetition. Topic must have clear focus. Then in terms of topic must also be of sufficient length, not too long, and we are made to understand that the shorter your topic is, the better, but topic must not be short, must not be too short as to lose the substance of the of it. Okay, then it took us also through qualities of a good topic. One of it is clarity. A good topic must be clear. The message is passing must be clear to anybody who reads the topic. Topic must be well defined, capable of single meaning, no ambiguity. Topic must be focused, must focus on a specific scope. Then it must be on current issues of the profession. He said, it made us understand that there's no aspect of our profession that does not have contemporary issue or issue of burning issue that could contribute to the professional skill and knowledge. Okay, then it concluded by sharing with us some of the grounds based on his experience, some of the grounds upon which CA topic can be disqualified by the assessors. One of it is if a topic has a problem of depth in scope, that is, if the scope is too short, it is too short as to cover the area of experience required of a candidate. 2, shallow depth in terms of the case study. The depth of a case study is also very important. Like he told us that you can't use, for instance, like a 3-bedroom flat as your case.
Okay, I think internet service is not favorable to NIESV Kamaldeen. Okay, I have somebody that raised his hand here. While we are waiting for NIESV Kamaldeen, the co-host, can you please allow Mr. Kabir to talk? He raised his hand. Are you hearing me, please? If you can, please. Okay, Kamaldeen is back. But Mr. Ilo Kabir, wait. When Kamaldeen is done, we will unmute you to talk. Alternatively, you can equally send in your question through chat. Okay, another person want to talk to. Don't worry. Let's Mr. Kamaldeen. Mr. Kamaldeen, are you back? Kamaldeen.
I'm here. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, please. We lost your line the other time, not you.
Yeah, yes.
So can you please stand?
All right, thank you very much, sir. So on the topic must not be, if a topic is theoretical, the lecturer made us understand what would make a topic to be theoretical, that if a topic will require that we need to go to the field to carry out, to gather data from the field and not from the experience of the candidate, then that topic is theoretical. It may, on the basis of that, the topic can be disqualified. Then finally, that the topic must be within the service area of estate surveying and valuation. Okay, any area that is not within the service area of estate surveying and valuation, we are not required to pick a topic from there. Thank you very much. Now let's go to question and answer session. But before we go there, sir, a lot of people have been asking whether they can get the soft copy of this lecture. that some people, because of their network, they couldn't follow the lecture from the beginning. Some within, they lost some part of it, and they're asking if we can make the soft copy available to them. I think the answer to that is a generous yes. Are we on the same page, sir?
Yes, no problem. We will make it available.
So we'll make it available to.
And I think the academic equally is recording the presentation. Okay. So if the recording comes out well, we'll make the link available for participants to download, so that what we are trying to do is to contribute our own part to the development of the profession. So we'll not hesitate, whatever is required. And when the workbook that I promise is ready, we'll equally send that workbook to, I think latest by next week should be ready. We'll send the e-copy to members too, so that it can always guide us.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir. On the question and answer session, I have here a question from Mr. Mead Babalola. Said, my question is that, does it mean that the NIESV critical analysis doesn't require theoretical input at all? So, okay. So maybe you should answer that, and I'll read the next.
Okay, thank you. It's not as if it does not require theoretical inputs at all, but you are not required to review. We don't have theoretical review. We don't have any chapter. The new format does not have any chapter for review of literature or giving theoretical background. However, it's required that as you are writing, theoretical issues that, professional issues that come up that have theoretical underpinning or theoretical background, you bring the theoretical background up. Just one or two quotes. For example, if you are to make recommendation on an issue that is not common, and you have recommended and you have said this is what has been done, you have to establish justification for what has been done. And you cannot claim to be that, you cannot claim that that is your knowledge. You have learned it from somewhere or from somebody or from a book, right? So you make reference to that, just one or two lines. So is anytime there is a statement of assertion, declaratory statements, or position that is contrary to norm, usual norm, is good to establish justification for that. So these are areas where, you know, the theory or the theoretical underpinning will come in. But that we have a chapter where you will review the concept, theories, and everything about your topic, that is no more in the new formats. You know, this lecture is series. Next series, by the grace of God, I think is on writing synopsis. After that, we go to, we go to the CA itself. After CA, I think we have to go to interfield guide and so on and so forth. We want to believe that this is a radical process to turn in a lot of members to NIESV to become elected. So we will follow through. When we get to CA writing, you'll see all the new format, what it is. Before that new format, the old format normally have a chapter for theoretical review or theoretical background, but this one does not have it. But the fact is that when you have key issue, maybe, or you have made a declaratory statement, put the authority back up. You have to establish it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, the next question from Oluwadara Shimolu. What exactly do we do in project management as estate surveyors and valuers that is different from project supervision?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oluwadara.
Oluwadara, I think she's
you know why I laugh is this. You see, we are not supervising, no. We are managing. We are managing. And what we manage is not the construction work. It's not, see, the construction work is operational work, technical work. That's the job of, just like valuation is our own technical work, okay? But as a project manager, as an estate surveyor and valuer, our role is in the area of project management. A project manager is not the one that does construction. No. A project manager sees to the project initiation. That's where it starts from. It sees to the project initiation, that the project is properly initiated. Then he ensures that all project scope, all project baseline are well defined, including requirements and everything. Then he goes to the area of procurement and so on and so forth. And his job is to ensure that the delivery process of the projects conform with all project baseline. If we are talking of predictive, there is another project technique, but let's limit ourselves to predictive, which is more akin to our field. So the job of project manager is to ensure that all project baseline, there is no deviation from them. And if there will be deviation, there will be change process. So it's the job of the project manager. As a matter of fact, the people that will be doing the construction, they are part of project team. The project manager is the head. Right? It's his job to track their performance. That is against schedule now. It's his job to track even the performance in terms of costs. And there are so many tools. So it's not the project management is different from supervision. And that is why in the built environment, you see, architects always want to lay claim to project management. Equally, quantity surveyor are laying claim to project management. But look, that is a topic on its own, and a topic I'm so passionate about. Why? Because number one, I've been privileged to manage property investment and development company for close to 20 years, right? And I manage all this team. Number two, I've been privileged to serve Nigeria NIESV in the capacity of the chairman of Faculty of Project Finance and Management, at least for some years. And because of my passion and my experience, I do more of managing projects, conceptualizing the project, managing the delivery, then closing out. So it's different from construction. Our job is not to supervise construction. And so maybe before I leave that question, another person equally from what the assistant coordinator sent to me has that, okay, what are people that have been working in construction company and that he have been supervising building construction? That is a wrong place of tutelage for essence of young Ghana. So if that's where you find yourself, well, unfortunately, we can only sit down with you if you are to write and look at how your experience will count, how we can project your experience within the service area of essence of young Ghana, and that's managing project delivery. Then managing project delivery has a lot of issues. Managing costs, for example, during planning, managing costs, during implementation, managing costs, during closeout. These are different issues. Not to talk of managing schedule, not to talk of managing scope, right? Not to talk of managing quality, not to talk of managing stakeholder. That's the most difficult thing. And a host of all this, right? So you have a lot of issues you can write on, right? Even procurement alone, you can write on it. Contract administration, you can write on it, and so on and so forth. So it's not our job to supervise construction. That is not part of the purview of essence surveillance and Rwanda. So and that means that we should have the right tutelage, you know, so that it will at least enhance our skill. Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. We have a question here from, I can't see the name proper, well, let me read the question. In the course of writing the practical implications of any topic, can one reflect on, okay, I think this question is, can one reflect on theoretical underpinning at least? I think this question has been answered. Yeah. Okay, I have another question here from Samuel Oladili. He said, good day, sir. Please, I am now working in a government organization that handles tenement rate stroke land use charge, and would like to write my CA using my current work experience. However, I had registered as a graduate member under my previous boss and a senior colleague in private firm as supervisor. I want to change my supervisor to my senior colleague who is also an associate member in my new office. How do I go about it, sir?
Well, incidentally, that's not a follow-up on my presentation, but let me answer. It's very easy. All you need to do is to inform NIESV, write NIESV, you know, that you are right to the membership committee that you have changed your place of employment and want to change your supervisor. Because you can actually write to change your supervisor and even change your topic. You can do that. But you need to put reason why you are changing. And you have valid reason. Okay? Your argument will be that it's a new place, number one, and you feel that what you are doing there, you know, really they contribute more to your knowledge, or that you are so passionate about them, or that they are so significant to your experience and senses of your things like that. You just put justification. But I think you have good grounds to change your topic and change your supervisor. As a matter of fact, it's only NIESV that allows that your 2 years can be any time of your tutelage experience. I think RICS requires that your 2 years to be last 2 years to your assessment of professional competence. So if we want to follow that, that means that ordinarily you should rather go with where you are now. So you need to just write NIESV, inform them you are changing your supervisor and your topic, and give reason that you have changed your place of work, and what you are doing now, you are more passionate about it. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Then we have another question here from Mrs. Uduka Ogene. Please, sir, for someone who has done mostly sales, both high rises for government and sometimes from conceptualization to disposal of a project for single individuals, what likely topic can come out of such experience? I think, Madam Uduka, you have to see us in the academy. You're part of the academy, and I think we can settle that there. Then we have another question here from Ochi Stella. How do you see to it that projects are properly, this is not within the purview of this lecture, but let me just read it. How do you see to it that projects are properly initiated? This is
okay. Yeah, well, that's not within the purview, but okay. You see, it's within the knowledge framework of project delivery. But let me say that when you have to initiate projects, 2 issues are very, very important. The first thing is the project charter. Project charter. That project charter is more or less, in the language of project manager, they will say that's the official birth certificate of the project. In that project charter, there is a document that is important in it, and that is business case. There should not be any project without project charter. In the project charter, there will be business case. That project, again, this will explain to the guy that is talking about project management. That project, that business case usually contain why should they do the project, the basis for approving the project by the sponsor, and what are these feasibility studies, viability studies, risk analysis, and what have you. Who is better placed among the professionals in the built environment to be project managers? If the project charter itself must contain business case, and that business case, the focus is basically, benefit measurement technique, and so feasibility studies, viability study, risk analysis, optimization, and so on and so forth. That is our job as far as real estate is concerned. So apart from the project charter, then there will now be what we call requirements, stakeholder requirements. You have to collect stakeholder requirements. You must identify all your stakeholders to the projects, and know their requirements, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. You look at the project environment, identify all the stakeholders, collect their requirements, ensure and look at the impact of their requirements, and so on and so forth. On the basis of those 2, you have properly initiated your project. So that is project initiation. So you don't, it's invariably that, let me just use our language. The project must be properly conceived and articulated. That's our language, okay? It must be properly conceived and articulated. There must be proper planning. Your choice of land the design, the type of design, the type of project you want to do, who and who will be involved, and so on and so forth. What is the approval nature? Everything will come in at project initiation stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, our time is fast spent. We're already behind time, but I want us to take this last question from Oyekami Kayode. What is the difference between synopsis and critical analysis? And if you are working in the domain of environmental protection board, can you write your topic based on environmental?
Okay. One, CA.
Difference between synopsis and CA.
Yeah, synopsis is like this proposal for your CA. That is the proposal you will send, subject to the requirement of NIESV, to present your idea, your CA idea. It will contain your topic and give a brief insight into your topic. And more importantly, the purpose of that topic must be clearly identified in your synopsis. When we get to writing synopsis, we'll be discussing all those ones. Now, CA itself is the project, but we don't call it projects. We call it critical analysis. CA itself is the project. Your synopsis is your proposal to tell your examining body, this is what I have in mind. This is what I want to achieve. Just few words. NIESV requires that you write not more than 100 words, right? So then when that is approved, you now go to the project proper. That project is the critical analysis. Okay?
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for partaking in this webinar. I want to, for those who have been asking for soft copy, I've read a couple of messages in the chat column. We are going to send to you. We have your emails. So long as you register for this, we have your email. So we are going to send, and we are also going to look at the recordings. If the recordings is okay, we can also share that with you. In addition to that, Risk Academy, like I said, has mentoring units now. We have a mentoring unit. So our mentoring unit is open to all members of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, whether you are a probationer or you are a graduate, irrespective of where you are in the federation. Our mentoring unit is open to you. Very soon, we are going to upload some of the things on mentoring on our website, and where members can have access to, so that this will continue to help us to better our ways of handling professional progression in this profession. I want to thank everybody once again for joining this webinar. We are going to notify you when we will have the next series. This is just series 1. Series 2 will come very soon, and we are going to notify you on the date and time. Thank you very much for attending, and you can always contact us when you have any question regarding your selection of topic. Of course, if you have any challenge, you can always contact us, even in writing your CA, in choice of or who to supervise. You're looking for a supervisor or anything that has to do with your professional progression. Our mentoring unit, we undo that. And there's no barrier to location. Like this webinar we're having now, some people joined from Niger State, some joined from Abuja, some from Akwa Ibom State and other parts of the federation. So there's no barrier any longer. So we can always our mentoring can always extend online to as many people who need them. Thank you very much. Now, closing prayer. Closing prayer. Let me, because I did opening prayer.
Sorry, sorry, can you identify if yes, something is still on?
Okay, let me.
If it's on, let the IT guy power his microphone so that you can have a keynote address.
Okay. I don't think he's on. I think he has.
Okay.
He has left. It's no longer in.
Okay. Then.
It's no longer in, but no, it's no longer in.
That's all right. Then we can round up.
Okay. IT, can they help us to unmute? Can IT help us to unmute Mrs. Tinuke Awaru?
Okay.
Or if Mrs. Tinuke Awaru is not there, can you help us unmute Mr. Francis Metu? Mr. Francis Metu is a prominent member of Education Subcommittee of Lagos State Branch. Please help us unmute Mr. Francis Metu to
Done, sir.
give us closing prayer. Mr. Francis Metu, please opening closing prayer, please. Stay with us.
Stay with us, sir.
Mr. Francis Metu, can you please unmute yourself and give us closing prayer? Okay, I don't think he's with us. I don't know. Maybe there's network challenge. Yes, I can see, but he has not unmuted himself. Okay, let's pick another person. Okay, Mrs. Tinuke Awaru, is she still online? Mrs. Tinuke Awaru, are you there?
Not online.
She's not. Okay. Okay. I'm picking on. Okay, Mrs. Tinuke Awaru is still online. Can you unmute her? Or you unmute Mrs. Jumoke Ayeni. Mrs. Jumoke Ayeni is online. I should be unmuted. Okay, Mrs. Jumoke Ayeni, please. Closing prayer. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, yes, I'm already.
Good afternoon. Closing prayer.
Okay. We thank God for his mercy upon us. We thank God for the goodness he has been doing for Reels Academy. We thank God for the knowledge God has bestowed upon all our guys in Reels Academy. We thank God for the outstanding. We bless the name of the Lord. Adoration be unto him. Lord Jesus, we call upon thee as we are giving our God this wisdom. Father, continue to bestow your wisdom upon them in the mighty name of Jesus. We pray for Reels Academy. The Lord Almighty should lay his mighty hands upon Reels Academy. Forward ever, backward never, in the mighty name of Jesus. So those are in part of the truth, they shall receive blessing from above. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Whenever we call upon them, you shall be alive to reap the fruit of your labors in the mighty name of Jesus. And we shall all rejoice together in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Heavenly Father. For in Jesus' name we have prayed.
Thank you, Mrs. Jumoke Ayeni. Thank you, everyone. We do hope that you have been able to enrich yourself with additional knowledge in the area of progression today. We promise that next time you also going to get more and more. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, mo. Ah, Jojo Iwani.